Good afternoon and welcome to the program Transforming Lives One at a Time. Our hope is that your lives are being impacted by the information being disseminated via this platform, and you can now go make positive change in your communities. Our topic today is taking a firm stand as parents. My guest is Miss Yolanda Marcelle, and she has a certificate in child care and parenting with an emphasis on positive reinforcement. She is president of the Parent Teachers Association in the largest school on the island and the PRO in the Tobago region, PTA. She is committed to working with parents to prepare a generation for the future. Ms. Marcelle, welcome to the program.
It's nice to be here.
Nice having you. Well, let's jump right in. We will all agree that parenting now is much more challenging than in the era that we grew up. We are, of course, in an evolving society, and with the advent of technology, children are now much more exposed to information at the tip of their fingers. There are more challenges being faced in the home, the school, the community. So let's firstly talk about what creates a healthy home environment for a child to grow and flourish.
I think first to begin, we always say that now it's more challenging to be a parent in this time because of the information available to the children, because of technology, because of a whole host of stuff. But I believe that if we remember our roles, then we don't have the problem. If we remember as parents that we are responsible to parent, and we help our children to understand that as children they are responsible to follow the guidance that we are giving them as parents, I think that creates a healthy home environment. And parents, as part of your role as parenting, is to be an example. Yes. And what we have a lot now is parents who say, do as I say, not as I do. So to have that healthy environment, if each person remembers their role, and do what is required of their role, that creates the healthy environment. Not the fact that we have single parent home or whatever, but people functioning in their roles helps to create that healthy environment.
Yes, I totally agree. And we cannot pretend and not address the white elephant in the room that everything starts on the home front.
Yes.
There is a popular statement made by our seniors that charity begins at home and ends abroad. And we know, based on the symptoms exhibited in our society today, that we are dealing with a vast number of broken homes. Just what is a parent's role in raising a child to become a respectable adult?
First thing is, don't play the blame game. It's no one's responsibility or fault for your child being who they are. So if it is that, for instance, you have a home that used to be two-parent and then a separation takes place, you do not take out your pain, your anger, your hurt, your disappointments on the child.
Right.
Do not try to poison the child against the other parent, because then you create confusion in the mind of the child. Because to the child, that parent did nothing. And we have to be careful, because the parent that stays in the eyes of the child is not responsible for chasing the other parent away.
Wow.
So you have a responsibility as the parent that stays to speak life, to speak positivity into the child. Remember that the child is holding themselves responsible. Most children hold themselves responsible because they feel if they had done something different, the parent that left wouldn't leave.
Wow.
And so your job now is to say, well, you didn't do anything wrong, you know. It just couldn't work out, but we both still love you.
Yes.
And we both still have what is best for you. You do not have these 5-alarm fire arguments in front of the child and think that the child will choose your side.
Yeah.
You know, and these kinds of stuff. So if it is that we want children to be respectable, then we have to behave in a respectful manner. You do not sit at home and bad talk the teacher, bad talk the neighbor, and all of that with the child.
Right.
Because these are adults you're talking about.
Correct.
To a child.
Yes.
And once they get to understand, oh, this is how mommy feel, this is how daddy feel, they act it out when they go out.
Yes.
You know,
or they even tell the neighbor, yeah, well, my mommy don't really like you. You know, she say you don't cook your food well.
Right? So we know children are honest to a fault.
Blatantly honest.
You know, so if we want our children to have respect, then we are to guide them in that way. It doesn't matter how we feel.
Yes.
We have to remember that we are an adult like the other person. That child is not. And I think I learned that as a child without even being taught that in training, because I remember when my mom and a neighbor wasn't talking, I decided I'm not talking to the neighbor either.
Yes.
So I passed straight, and she gave her daughter the information to take to my mother. Well,
Yes.
you know what happened.
Of course, we know.
You know, and so from that,
You
it
learned,
stuck. Not to the
yes.
back, to the front.
Of course.
Right there. And she told me, she said, what that have to do with you? You
Yes,
grown?
Right.
And so we have to know, you know, if we are teaching principles to the children, then we have to be willing to walk in those principles also.
Yes, but it's so very interesting because, as you said earlier, we have an approach, some parents, do as I say but not as I do. So you want your children to walk in a particular way, but you are not showing them the example.
Correct.
So what do we expect? If we are not showing them the correct example, they will follow whatever you are doing.
Yeah.
And then later on, as we are seeing exhibited now, we want to play the blame game as
yes,
you rightfully
we love
said.
to blame and say, I don't know where you get that from.
Yes.
No, who they grow with.
That's right.
You know,
yes.
and these kinds of stuff. We don't condone bad behavior. We don't reward bad behavior. And we tend to do that because when they're small and they start cussing, we think that's funny.
Yes,
and we laugh.
And send the voice note to some other
Yes,
relatives.
and what you are doing to that child is reinforcing that what they're doing is okay.
Exactly.
You know, so we
Wow.
have to watch at all those things. I'm not saying to pounce on your child at every moment.
Yes.
But those who would have followed me advising would know I believe in conversation.
Yes.
Have conversations. I remember when my son was very young, my first son, and the neighbors were making fun of him. And I put him to sit high up on a table. And I said, don't you look like your mommy? He said, yes. I said, and you don't think your mommy is cute? He said, yes, mommy. I said, well, you look like me. You're cute too.
Yes.
And that was the end of that.
Wow.
He never came home crying again because he knew they were jealous.
Yes.
I told him, I said, they're just jealous.
Of course.
You don't let them tell you, you know you're cute.
That's right.
You know, and so I didn't say, well, the next time they talk to you, cuss
Yes,
them.
yes.
Or hit them with something. No.
Right.
Positive reinforcement. So
Yes.
that child grows feeling a sense of joy for who they are.
Of course.
When
And
they
acceptance.
have an acceptance, because that's that word.
Yes.
To be accepted, the things that children do. And on top of that, they are more pleasant child. They're not wounded as much
Yeah.
because of words of others, because you've already taught them the image of who they should see themselves as. And so on.
Foundation.
Yeah.
Foundation.
So, yeah.
So when we talk about instilling proper discipline in our children, what exactly does that mean?
That's a ticklish one, because discipline can take many forms. You know, in our Caribbean culture, when we hear the word discipline,
Licks.
that is it. That's the only thing it means. Yes. So I prefer not to use discipline.
Okay.
It tends to create this negative, you know. I believe in teaching your children proper behavior. So if that child was to do something that is not proper behavior, your job as a parent is to tell them why it's not a proper behavior. And if it is at the moment you cannot do that, you could ask advice from someone, your pastor, an elder, your parent, and so on, as to, because I grew in a time where they told you what to do and you didn't ask why.
Correct.
Right. So more than likely you will not know why something is wrong.
Right.
So ask. Now that you're grown, maybe your mom might be willing to tell you, maybe your grandmother might be willing to tell you. Find out from a counselor in your church, a friend who has that type of qualification, so that when you approach this child, is corrective behavior you're doing, not disciplining, and cause the child to put up a wall and reject what you're saying. So if it is you hear that your child was in the road behaving like they're working in a fish market and walking the road all kinds of way, when you sit down and you want to talk to that child, you tell that child, listen, as a young lady or as a gentleman growing up, positive words. And you're growing up, you do not want to be seen as such and such and such, because people who behave that way gets a stigma, and once you are known for this, it follows you through your life. It can hinder you from people being kind to you, or you getting favor as you go along, and things like that. So when you want to put in discipline, it does not have to be negative. My children and I will talk to them until they had gotten to the point where they would do whatever it took so mommy doesn't start a conversation.
Wow.
Because I could talk for 2-3 days. I'll be talking about that thing. And so if something else come to mind, I would say, you all get upset with me because I say so and so. But if you keep doing so and so, this is where it ends up. And y'all don't understand now. But, and I go into the whole discourse.
The whole 9 yards.
So, and now I laugh at them a lot. Because now they're talking, mommy, to say.
Because that is what you would have instilled into them with that conversation.
And it doesn't stop you from being liked by your children. And a lot of times that's the problem we have. Parents are afraid to discipline because you don't want the child to hate you, or you don't want to cause they have all these nonsense going on now about emotional distress and all these different things. But there's a way to do things.
Understood.
But you must correct the child. Otherwise, somebody may in jail is either you or the child.
Well, precisely.
So
if you don't correct them now, the correctional facility will be doing that.
And they don't correct it?
Precisely.
All right.
Precisely. Well, we know that in many homes we don't have both mother and father. We would have touched a little bit on that. And as a result, we have countless single mothers and single fathers. Let's talk about some challenges parents on both fronts would face.
Trying to be both.
Double role.
Yes. Trying to be both. Trying to have an amicable parenting system taking place, because you and the other parent is separated, and so that child might be spending time by me and by you and back and forth. We as parents have to agree on how we're going forward with this. And whenever there is a disagreement on it, it should not be in front of the child. See, I'm coming back to that again.
Yes, that's important.
We don't disagree in front of the child. And my children will tell you that they've never heard their father and I quarrel. They might catch an eye. Because I'm talking to him and without words. So they might catch an eye in passing, but that's about it, But when they're not around,
you have it.
Even if I had to get on the phone, right, we will get this conversation going. But in front of the children, and they were never allowed to disrespect him, not to me. And I was never allowed to speak negatively to them or disrespect him to them.
Yes.
So they understood that we were not at each other. You know,
Yes.
so they could not play us one against the other.
Yes.
You know, it took him a little time to understand that this is the system we were going to use. It's not that it was perfect from the get-go. So whenever it was done, as soon as they turn around and they go on and call him, I said, listen, I told you this is what it will take for me to be able to manage my children at home. Please do not break that, you know, and that is the TV version.
As you said, as you spoke about that, I am thinking that is such a mature approach, because what you find happening a lot is that you find one parent weaponizing their children against the other parent. So they're going to be speaking disrespectfully. Your father, listen, or your mother. No, we can't do that, because who does it hurt?
The children. And you know, as you said that, my ex-husband would always tell him, you know, your mother crazy. And one day he said that in front of the last boy. And they were driving wherever. I had to get this, I was rolling.
Yes.
And he is like, why would you say that about mommy? Because mommy don't speak that way about him to them.
Yes.
So it's like, why would you say that about mommy? Well, you know that never happened again.
Never,
because he realized, you know, we are not, we have to understand as single parents, we hurt because we invested a lot in the relationship.
Yes.
And it did not work out. Sometimes not in our best interest. And so we have this anger there, we have this rage there, and then you hear this child talking about the other parent that hurt you so bad, as though they are the best thing since sliced bread and ice cream and cake.
Yes.
And you just want to strangle them. And don't you have to smile and wait until you are alone, call up a friend, a counselor, somebody, mommy, cry all the tears, bawl all the boo-hoo you need to bawl, and put back on that face and grow your child.
Because
they are not part of this madness.
Yes.
And that is the issue that we're having, where as a single parent, sometimes you have, most times is a single mother, and the father is not financially supportive, emotionally supportive, no type of supportive, and they might pass by, and then when the child get an achievement, they're there front and center.
That's my daughter, that's my son. Yes,
yes.
Graduations.
Look at my child.
Graduations.
Right? And so, sir.
Yeah, it's
that's
difficult.
all you can do. Sir.
Yes.
And you know, you have to talk to them with the eye, you know. You and them know what you're talking about.
Yes.
But you still cannot weaponize the children. I love that.
Precisely.
You cannot weaponize the children because you're causing emotional trauma that is not necessary. Because you have a broken child, you have a broken adult, you have a broken society.
There we go. There we go.
And so we need to understand that as single parents, you're single-handedly holding the future of our society in your hands.
Precisely.
So when you break them and let them loose,
yes,
what do we have?
Wow, definitely a broken society. It starts from the home, then it goes into the schools, and then into the community, then into the nation, the repercussions of our actions. Wow. On this note, we're going to take a short break and we will be right back. You're viewing Transforming Lives One at a Time. Stay with us.
Are you looking for beautiful and durable flooring for your home or office? Check out D-Cell's Tile and Ceiling Center, Store Bay Local Road, Bonaccord, Tobago, opposite the primary school. Our high-quality ceramic and porcelain tiles come in a wide range of colors, patterns, and textures to suit any style and taste. From sleek and modern to classical and traditional, your floors and walls will look great for years to come. D-Cell's Tile and Ceiling Center, open Monday to Saturday from 9 a.m. Call 460-8802 or 639-8281. We've got you covered.
Welcome back to Transforming Lives One at a Time. Our topic today, taking a firm stand as parents. Ms. Marcelle, we were talking just before the break about, well, so many other things. Wow. And I was listening to a speaker recently who was sharing his concern that many parents were focusing mostly on sports and grades, physical abilities, popularity, but was neglecting critical aspects of building character in their children. When we think about traits like courtesy and generosity, self-control, wisdom, courage, gentleness, and the likes, just give us your thoughts on this.
You cannot give what you don't have. That's as simple as it is. How can you give what you don't have? If you are not kind and gentle and generous, considerate, thoughtful, how can you give that?
Wow.
And we've lost a whole generation in between our parents and now.
Yes.
There's a whole generation in there of children who didn't wait to grow up to start having children.
Yes.
And so they're mad and angry about the discipline they got. And they have sworn not to put their children through that. And so we've just lost a whole generation of children that is going to grow up without discipline, without respect, without consideration, without that neighborliness.
Yes.
You know, when we were growing up and there was an elder person in the village, your mommy would send you, daddy would send you, go and help them do something,
do
right?
some chores.
Right.
Something.
Not now. The parents would be like, what is in it for them?
Wow.
What is in it for them? So you don't have no children of your own to come and help you, and these kinds of stuff. So if it is that we don't have that heart, we cannot train our children. And then because you're still angry at your parents for the discipline they gave you, you're not going to go to your parents for guidance.
Right. You're too proud.
Right. And you're still angry because you're convinced they were wrong.
Yes.
And they wronged you. And they're not going to do the same to your children. So your children are not going to have that experience with their grandparents to learn some things you didn't.
Right.
So how can you give what you don't have? And that's where we're at.
Well, that is a very sad, that is a very sad place. It's very troubling. It's very troubling because I firmly believe that one generation is supposed to pass on to the other generation.
I agree.
So we can have that level of continuity.
I agree.
But as you rightfully said, if you don't have it, you cannot give what you don't have.
So calling all godparents everywhere.
Yes. yes.
Calling all godparents everywhere.
To stand in the gap.
If your godchild is not being raised right, take them for a weekend or two, please. Take them some weeks over the August holiday. You know, take them, please.
Rescue them. It's now a rescue mission, you know. Because how I'm looking at it, if it is that we cannot give them that information, we cannot pass it on to the generations, we now have to rescue an entire generation.
An entire generation.
Let's talk about children and chores as well as curfews. When a parent assigns chores and establishes curfews with a child, what are they hoping to achieve or to teach that child?
Responsibility, commitment, being considerate of others. And believe me, my son is going to be 18 in a few weeks, and I'm still having the conversation.
Yes.
Oh, Lord. You know, but one of the things I strongly disagree with is paying your child to do chores.
Precisely.
Oh, my God. Then it's not a chore, it's a job. And that is where the loss of neighborliness and kindness and generosity and awareness, aware that the world is not just revolving around you.
Yes.
And that's where we've lost it. Because when we had chores, we had chores.
Of course.
So you don't come and say, well, mommy, you forget to give me the $5 that you promised me. You better say that from a distance.
Yes.
You know, and so on. So I am saying, if it's a chore, it's a chore.
Right.
If you're giving your child an allowance, it's an allowance.
Yes.
The two does not connect. So if I am giving you, I agree, you and I agree, I'm going to give you $20 every week just for your own pocket money.
Yes.
That doesn't have anything to do with traveling to go to school. It has nothing to do with nothing.
Right.
It's just I'm giving you that at the end of every week, and you could utilize it as you see fit. You know, so there are times you might be out with your friends, you might want to buy a juice, you might want to buy a snack, so you don't feel whatever.
Left out, of course.
Right. And you might have goals. Parents, Mother's Day, Father's Day, Teacher's Day. You know, your child wants to get you something. So give them the little allowance.
Yes.
Let them learn to save towards a goal.
Of course.
Because remember, they're going to become adults and they're going to have to save towards a goal.
Yes.
Buying, whether it's a house, a car, a wedding, a business, you have to save towards.
Yes.
So that helps them from that age. But when they have chores assigned, they are responsible for carrying out those chores. And if we agree on when the chore is supposed to be done, and you have an activity that you have to get done, you are responsible to come now and say, Mommy, I know I usually do the chore at this time, but today, remember I asked you last week that my friends were going to the beach.
Yes.
Not you now coming to tell me your friends going to the beach.
Right.
Yeah? Let's get that clear. Remember last week I was telling you my friends were going to the beach this weekend. Can I now do the chore this afternoon when I come back? Or can I do it today, Friday, before tomorrow? So you're not going to wait till Saturday morning when the chore has to get done to come and sing me that song.
At that point, right.
No, because you cannot call out of work at the time you're supposed to be at work.
That's right. You have to call before.
Right. So you see how character
is character building.
Okay.
Because the same thing you do at home, now you're going to exercise that kind of behavior at school and then in the workplace.
There you go. So now when you have homework that or assignment, group project, that you didn't get your part that you are committed to completing done, you cannot show up the morning of the presentation to say, well, you know, I didn't get a chance to.
Right.
So you are developing in your child courtesy.
Yes, yes.
Because
yes.
now they're considerate of their other teammates and the responsibility now. So along the way, you would have discovered that you needed some assistance and address it early. So when we give them a simple thing as chores, we started with chores, right? Look where we are.
Yes.
Right? So when we're giving them chores, assigning chores to them, and then as parents, we need to follow through. Follow through with discipline. Not that you're going to take the phone and then they come and they nag you, and you give them back the phone.
Yes.
Same way with the chores. Not that you're going to say, well, you will do this and you will do that. And they come and they tell you, well, Mommy, my friend going so and I go in with them. They didn't ask it. And I go in with them. So we'll do that another time.
You're creating a monster.
All right, no. So now they go to school.
Same attitude.
Well, miss, I didn't get to do it, oh gosh.
Small thing.
You know, so giving our children, assigning them chores, assigning them curfew. Because remember that they're children, they think they're superheroes.
Yes.
So, Mommy, yes, I could go and do this. And when I'm done, I'm going to still have the energy to come and do that. And then I'm going to still be able to wake up for school bright-eyed and bushy till Monday morning. No. So not only are you going to give them a curfew, but conversation. I'm never going to stop saying that.
Yes.
Converse with the children. Let them know the reason you need to come in at 9. Because when you come in, you still need to shower, you still need to eat, you still need to settle yourself. So you're not going to even be ready for bed till about 10:30.
Exactly.
And you need to have so many hours sleep because you need to get up at this particular time so that you can be effective at school. And that way, when they get to be older, they go out to Lime.
Right. They're going to have to work the next day.
Right.
And with this now, they are now paying the bills, so they have to.
You know,
You are no longer there to pay the bills.
and so if parents would look at long term,
Yes.
their actions and the repercussion of that, or the consequence of that, long term, I think more parents would do a lot more. If we could understand it's not a moment thing that's happening, it's a long term. Whatever you do now, you are instilling and establishing character, habits,
Yes.
mindsets.
Wow.
That they're going to take with them into adulthood. How many times we say, especially we as ladies, we get up and the first thing we do is have a shower in the morning, and you ask them, how come you do that all the time? I don't know, it's just, that's how I was raised.
Of course. Of course.
Habits,
Wow.
mindsets, all the way through.
Yes.
So when we are looking at something at this moment, that's not the case.
Yes. So we have to look at it, parents have to look at it, this is a long-term investment.
That's right.
Because I am now investing in my child. That child is dependent on me to make the right decisions as it relates to bringing them up. Because now, we are now preparing our children to marry someone else.
Oh, let's not even talk about that. Oh my goodness.
We are preparing life partners, and then we wonder why we have so many problems in relationships, because that foundation. And I always say that what we are seeing manifested in society today, we are reaping the whirlwind. Because when you sow to the wind, when you just, anything goes, it doesn't matter.
They're never wrong. That's my child.
So what you're having are the repercussions.
That's right.
We have to get it right. Parents, we have to get it right. That's all I have to say. I'm speaking directly into the camera. Anytime I have a really big point,
that's right.
I have to speak into the camera,
because you're speaking to the parents.
To get it right. You may not be perfect, but you have to get it right. You have to do your best. You have to recognize that these lives that God has placed into your hands is a life that has purpose.
That's right.
And you need to ensure that you do all within your power to do a good job. Okay? Just saying.
I think our motto at home should be, I'm raising a generation.
Yes.
You're not just raising a child.
A generation.
You're raising a generation.
I love that. We are raising a generation. Let's chat a bit about resolving misunderstandings and the problems that would arise in the home between parents and children, between siblings, because as we said, it all starts in the home. And if we could find a way to be able to work out our differences in an amicable manner at home, then it is only natural. It will spread to the school and so forth. So how can?
We need to start with looking at the children as people. That is a person.
Okay.
So our culture in a lot of ways does not see children as a person. It's a child.
Yes.
And we dismiss them.
Yes.
Dismiss their feelings, we dismiss their opinions, we dismiss their perspective on things. And they're treated like they're not a person, a whole person. They might be a little person, but they're a whole person.
Correct.
And so we don't respect them because they're children. And so we behave any kind of how in front of them, towards them, because they're children. And what they say, you grow out of it. No, you grow into it.
Yes.
Because this is what has been in your environment. And this is what has shaped you all your life. And so this is what you've become. If you put dough in a container of any kind, when it is cooked, it takes the shape of the container.
Correct.
You could will it to be whatever you want. You could put whatever you want in it. It's going to take the shape of the container that it's in. So how can you grow a child in a toxic environment and expect not to have a toxic child?
Wow.
A toxic adult?
Yes.
Creating toxicity everywhere they go because that's all they know. And so when we have resolutions, I have never seen my mother and father resolve a matter amicably. So then to me, how do I resolve a matter? Screaming, hollering, bawling,
Yes.
what? Because that's all I know. And so I think if we could help parents to be aware. So if it is that your child does something and that's the only time you think about them as a person, because according to someone taught me, you want to use all the letters of the alphabet,
Yes,
with all the colors of the rainbow on it. And you're talking to a child. And I was driving by on the Milford Road, coming close to a light, and I am hearing this parent cussing as if someone got them upset on the road. Until I came up alongside and realized it's a little 4-year-old.
wow.
She walking at a speed that he had to run to keep up with, and cussing this child all the way to wherever they was going because the child probably moved slow. The child at 4 years old moved slow. Where were you when the child had to take care of herself to be ready in time with you and make her late and whatever, and cussing? I was so in awe.
Wow.
So how do we resolve situation at home? Not that every so-and-so time I'm talking to you about the same so-and-so thing. Okay, so when you are done doing that and the child goes to school or among their friends and whatever, and there's something to resolve, how do they resolve it?
Precisely.
All right, so mommy and daddy have a disagreement at home, and daddy feel as though mommy should not stand up and answer him back. Burup, burup. How does that child resolve situations when they're not home?
Right, precisely, because this is what they know.
All right. So when we're talking about resolving issues, if we as adults in the house, because there are adults who live in an extended family setting, cussing their mother, cussing their father, and they have children watching them behave that way. So tell me, how long would it take before your child start cussing you?
That's right.
And these are the things, and they say, I try everything, I do everything. Yeah, you did. Everything.
Too much. Too much.
Everything you're seeing your child doing, you did.
It's a manifestation.
So
it's like you're looking in a mirror.
So I would like to suggest to parents, be aware that your child is a whole person, and whatever you do is shaping and molding that child. So start playing games at home with your child so you can see that your child is a sore loser, so that you can teach them, this is not sportsmanship, this is not how you behave.
Right.
Someone has to lose, and if it happened to be you, work harder towards winning the next time.
Yes.
And then you would recognize if they're cheating now to win, so you can again address. So you're building character, like I said earlier on. Discipline does not have to be a negative thing. Positive reinforcement.
Yes.
My mom always says you get more flies with honey than with vinegar.
Really? Really? It makes sense.
So you want a change in that child. Don't let them feel you're attacking them.
Yeah.
So if you explain to them, have the conversation, and you realize that this is a habit, like it's ingrained almost, then you need to be playing more games at home.
Right.
So that you could tap into this particular
get
thing.
That out.
There you go. Get them involved in things that they have to compete and have to be challenged and so on. Do not settle for less than your child has the ability to be. And sometimes as parents, it means we have to learn some disciplines.
Yes.
Now that we chose wasn't to take up when we were younger, that we now have to do now, because now we want to be a good example to the child.
Yes, good example. We're going to take another short break and we will be right back. Stay with us.
Are you looking for beautiful and durable flooring for your home or office? Check out D-Cells Tile and Ceiling Center, Store Bay Local Road, Bonacord, Tobago, opposite the primary school. Our high-quality ceramic and porcelain tiles come in a wide range of colors, patterns, and textures to suit any style and taste. From sleek and modern to classical and traditional, your floors and walls will look great for years to come. D-Cells Tile and Ceiling Center, open Monday to Saturday from 9 a.m. Call 460-8802 or 639-8281. We've got you covered.
You are viewing Transforming Lives One at a Time. Welcome back. Our guest today is Miss Yolanda Marcelle, and we are taking a firm stand as parents. How important is having regular family meetings to ascertain what is happening on the home front? You know, just talking about general behaviors that are expected, including, we could even touch a little bit on bullying, the importance of sharing with others, treating each other with kindness, that kind of thing.
One of the things I have kept away from, believe it or not, is family meetings. We're always having family meetings.
Okay.
So there's no assigned time for a family meeting to get anybody nervous, or you might catch somebody on a bad day or a bad moment with something going on, and they find that all these family meetings don't have any resolution, so they come and they sit down.
Okay, attitude.
They have nothing to say, they don't care what you tell them. What I have is an open bed policy. So you could climb up on my bed anytime.
Okay.
Or I will climb up on your bed anytime. And we chat. And we start to talk. If it is that I see you in a mood, I jump up on the bed, maybe pull your toe, start it out funny, you know, get you relaxed and comfortable, and say, so what's going on? You know, I notice so and so, and like, you know, I notice you're walking around sad. And be ready. The first response is nothing. We do it as adults.
All the
Come
time.
on now.
We do. We do. Nothing. I'm good.
Yeah. It's like, you know, and I will poke and pull and poke. I might call one of the siblings and, you know, enact a whole thing. Because at the end, all of us are going to end up there because we're having a conversation.
Yes.
We're having a meeting without saying we're having a meeting, right? So I'm like, so you had noticed your brother not smiling these days, like somebody break his heart or what going on?
Yes,
Girl, Girl, you know, you haven't talked to him lately, like if he not there,
exactly.
You know? Yeah, and we thinking and we going on. And so rather than leave a situation to build up, every time is an open time to have a meeting, because you never know when is a good time. Rather than watch something snowball and watch it going on and going on, waiting for the next family meeting.
Right.
And with children, deal with it right away, because tomorrow they're like, what? I never do that. You know, in their mind, yesterday gone, everything with yesterday went.
Yes.
And so you deal with that at the moment. And what you do now is you allow for, they know they can talk to you at any time.
Okay.
So now my children will crawl up on the bed. Once I see you climb up on the bed and lie down and roll under me and wherever, I go in along until you find the words.
Of course.
You know, and they will talk. That is how you get information.
Right.
Without torturing them.
Okay.
So they feel free at any time to come in. So I am not a supporter too much of that assigned family meeting time, because it may not be a good time for them or for you.
Understood.
Something might come up, you know. So that helps them to know you care, because they don't need an appointment to see you.
Right. And that trust
yes.
is created. You have that,
and that
bond.
Comes
so
along with that.
Anytime they know, I am free to go to mommy, I'm free to go to daddy, I'm free to go to auntie and discuss, talk about something that is bothering me.
I remember when my son was very young, he was about 7 or 8, and something had happened that I wasn't aware of. and we have family devotion. That is our family come together time. It's an assigned time we come together and have family devotion. And the topic that I was sharing with them on apparently hit home to him.
Okay.
So when everyone was gone, he said, "Mommy, I had to talk to you." I said, "Go ahead, no problem." He said, "You know what, I can't say it, I'll write it." And he wrote me a note about what had happened.
Okay.
We did not have to wait for a family meeting.
Right.
And even though our family meeting is devotion time, because before we pray, I want to know, so who's bullying you at school?
Yes.
So how are you and the teachers going? How are you and your good friend? I didn't hear you say anything about them for the week, or, you know. And so before we pray, and I teach them, the Bible says we are to pray for one another. And so when we begin to pray, I remind them of the prayer points. You know, we're going to pray for John because John is having a bad time and is taking it out on your sister. We're going to pray for Mary because she hasn't been a good friend lately, and we want that friendship to be healed. And we're going to pray about this test that's coming up because you seem to be having a challenge. So we have the conversation before we pray. So the Bible lesson we do. And parents, don't think you have to be a Bible scholar. Just choose a story from the Bible. It's a storybook. You know, it's a storybook. Read it beforehand so you could take out the lesson that you want to highlight, and you read it, and then you say the moral of the story is, and you share with them and whatever. And so what you have is a constant open communication going on.
So it's easy
at
for them
any
to
time.
come in.
And you don't have to be your child's friend.
Right.
But you have to be friendly enough for your child to come to you.
Yeah, because that was going to be my next question. Because many parents, from what we are seeing now, they are taking the approach of wanting to be their child's best friend. Can a proper balance be created in this regard, or is it a slippery slope?
It is a slippery slope. You can be friendly, but you cannot be your child's friend.
Okay.
You can be approachable. A child needs guardrails. They need order.
Yes.
They need discipline. And you are the only person that can give it to them as a parent. And they are going to love you for it.
Yes, later on.
I don't know why we feel as though because they have an attitude now that we get them mad and angry and they're upset with us and oh, my child wouldn't love me again.
Yes.
Listen, we are wired and built in to love our parents, don't care what kind of parents they are. And so if it is that your child knows that when confronted with a situation, I know who could solve this, I'm going to mommy or I'm going to daddy. They're not going to go to their friends first because they can trust you. Remember, you have built a trust relationship over their lifetime, and they've known. And my children would tell you anything that's bothering them, if they go to mommy, she will fix it. Because I tell them, come, let's talk about it. And with me fixing it's not because mommy know everything, but we look to the scriptures. We look to what God say. How do we deal with this matter? And you know, people could tend to look at you and say, you want to be all spiritual? No, because the best principles in life can be found in the scriptures. Of course. So whether you as a parent want to follow them or not, please help your child. Yes. Even if you don't feel it's good for you, help your child to be how to put an honorary citizen. Yes. Someone who cares about others, respect others, love their country, respect themselves, all round. Yes. You know, willing to give of themselves to help others and things like that. Because that's what the principles of the scriptures are. Of course. So yes, it is you. If you continue to establish a consistent, when your child hates you, is because you're not consistent in what you're saying and what you're doing. But if they can come and learn to trust your consistency, that mommy always says this and she sticks with it. Daddy always gives his word and he keeps his word. So you are going to find out that your son wants to keep his word like his daddy. Precisely. You know, so don't think that you're going to become a child enemy to tell them where they're wrong. Don't just tell them they're wrong. Guide them to what is right. Yes. And they will love you. They will love
even
you.
Ask the questions. So, okay, you handled it this way. What do you think was the right way you should have handled this? What do you think?
Yeah.
Based on the information and the conversations that you would have been having, and listen to what they say, how they would have solved the problem. Because many times, these children are something else, you know.
They're bright.
They know when to tell you that this person is doing something wrong, you know, but when they are doing it, they're bright.
Yeah. And you know how I taught my children to tell on themselves? It doesn't matter what you do.
Yes.
If someone else tells me before you, I'm going to believe them, I'm not going to believe you. So whatever happens, good or bad,
tell me first.
You come and tell me.
Quickly.
Let me see how it can be fixed.
Yes.
I will have a conversation with you, but you tell me, because if anyone comes and gets to me first, I'm going to believe their story.
Right.
And so my children, from the time they come through the door, Mommy!
One time.
So if miss call, So if, you know.
Just know this is information. So heads up.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. As we begin to wind down, I was speaking with a friend recently about how easy it is to condition the mind. And the example was when we have our children viewing these shows on the television or on the devices. You have they playing these shooting games, shooting after police and stuff like that. You have all of that going on. And things that many times parents seem to overlook because the device for many parents is there to just, oh gosh, I need to do
babysit.
Something. Yes, this is the babysitter. This is just for you to keep quiet and that kind of thing. But my question is, are you really paying attention to what they are viewing on these devices?
No, they're not. And that's sad. I will always make time and sit. Any show my children are watching or they've started to watch that I'm not aware of, I plant myself there. At least a couple episodes I have to watch. I'm not going to watch them consistently.
Right.
I'm going to just pop in different episodes.
Of course.
And you are only allowed to watch age-appropriate shows. So the older children were telling on the younger ones, Mommy, look, and this is for 13 and over. And Mommy, they're watching inappropriate, and they will use the words, inappropriate shows for their age and whatever. I made sure they watched shows that was age-appropriate.
Yes.
And content appropriate.
Of course.
Because I would sit with you, and you know, the cartoons long time, they've now turned them into little witch training.
Yeah, listen.
All kind of magic spells and all kinds of stuff. So I used to sit and whatever, and when it comes up, you know, I talking you through the whole show.
One time.
I explaining to you whatever, where the source of the power coming from and whatever. And this not found in the scriptures and we going on and whatever. So we would always talk about. So I'm not saying that now that they're older, they don't watch things that I would deem inappropriate.
Right.
But they've already been conditioned.
Of course.
To know the difference when they're looking at it.
Yes, because many of these shows, they're actually teaching children to be disrespectful to their teachers, to their parents, to the elders. When I look at some of these shows, and I'm like, these young children talking to these parents and slamming doors. Where you find that?
Slamming my teenage
in my
son,
house?
My big son learned that doors have hinges. The first time he go in his room and lock a door and talk about privacy, the hammer and the screwdriver.
One time, no privacy.
And I gave him a curtain.
It's my house, no privacy.
You know, so we really as parents just have to understand our responsibilities.
Yes.
We are raising a generation, a future husband, a future wife, a future parent.
Yes.
So we need to look at our children in that manner.
Yes. We just have probably about 2 or 3 minutes or so. I wanted to talk very quickly about parents partnering with the teachers and attending PTA meetings and stuff. I know it's a sore point, but just give us probably about a minute and a half on that, and then we just wrap up.
Yeah, I would like to encourage parents. When you have a child at school, have a voice at school. And that is what the PTA is about. Having a voice at the school. There are a lot of things going on at the school. We blame the government. They don't have enough money to support the education system. Let's come together. It's not that we're doing the government's job, it's that we're creating the best environment for our children to learn in. And partnering with the teacher helps with that. Because when, for example, my daughter one time went to school, didn't do her home lesson, did not know I was in the school, but the teacher saw me. And he went into the classroom and he was asking for the homework and she didn't have it. And he said, well, better I go and call your mother. She did not know I was in the school. So she was like, yes, sir, go ahead. He walks out and walks back in with me. They had to help her off the floor. She physically, literally fell on the floor that I walked in the door. So parents, I'm encouraging, you know, that if it's possible, and it is possible.
It is.
Not if.
It is.
Please relate to your teachers, your child's teacher, as someone that cares about your child. They don't know you, they don't know your child. They can't be your child enemy just on sight. You know, so come into PTA, come in and visit your teachers, listen to what they're saying. Don't say, that is not sounding like my child. You have 2 children, Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, one home and one at school. So, you know, if we could get parents to partner and respect the teacher at home. Don't when the child come home and complain. You see, she and he, and if they make me come up in school, I'm like, no. Because the child now goes to school
and says that
and does that. Disrespect. You know, and nobody could talk to them or call them now. Because you already know what your parents said at home. So I would like to thank you for raising that. Parents, please.
Definitely.
You know, I'm talking directly. I'm like, Mr. McClatchy said, please make that effort. Don't tell me how busy you are at work, because if your child fall down in school, work would stay right where it is and you would be there. If your child gets in trouble, gets suspended, you will make the time to be there. Don't wait until it gets to be a bad situation. Be present in a good situation.
Definitely. Well said. Well said. I want to thank you so much, my guest, Miss Yolanda Marcelle, for being on the program today. Thank you so much. Our topic, taking a firm stand as parents. And there's so much more that we could have spoken about, but we will definitely have her back again. All right. So one thing is clear as parents, we must continue taking a firm stand as we develop strong, disciplined, and respectable leaders of tomorrow. I'm your host, Deanne, and as usual, it's been a pleasure being in your company. Join us next Saturday at 5:30 in the p.m. and of course on my Facebook page and YouTube channel, Transforming Lives One at a Time. Always be reminded that transformation is an internal shift that brings us into alignment with our highest potential. Hey, we've got this. See you next time.